In the 2022 Qatar World Cup finals, there were 32 nations competing to win the world famous World Cup trophy, with Argentina doing just that, with all 32 nations having to go through their own World Cup qualifiers. However, I would like to know what would happen if all 227 nations in Football Manager were able to participate in a World Cup final. So let's dive into this one. I'm very, very excited to see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Andy Day FM with a brand new experiment. Now, this experiment, we are going to be looking at the World Cup of all World Cups. 227 nations battling it out for the Cup final, where they will be hopefully looking to win the famous World Cup trophy. But at the very beginning, which is where we are starting today, 6 nations looking to progress through to the first round. The qualifying round, 6 teams will be playing each other twice. When they do get into the first round, though, this is where it gets mental. 224 countries in a variety of different groups looking to progress through to the second round. Now, the top 6 of this round will progress through to the second round, and this is what it's going to look like. 96 nations, the top 4 going through to the third round, each nation only playing each other twice. So it'll be 5 games, teams play each other once. When they're in the third round, 64 nations, 7 games, teams play each other once. The top 4 will go through to the fourth period, fourth group, fourth stage, call it what you like. Now, this is where 32 nations, again, same as before, 7 games, teams play each other once. The top 4 nations progressing through to the fifth group, fifth period, fifth stage, call it what you like. Now, this is where it gets tense, real nail-biting stuff. 16 nations competing to get through to the quarter-final stage, where it will go down to 8 nations looking to go through to the semi-finals. At this point, there will be 4 nations only out of the 227 at the very beginning looking to get through to a 2-legged final. Yes, I said that right, and I have checked. The final is played over 2 legs. So let's have a look at the fixtures who will be playing in the qualifying round. Well, in the qualifying round, these are your 3 fixtures. It's going to be the US Virgin Islands versus Turks and the Caicos Islands. St. Pierre and Miquelon will be playing up against Puerto Rico, with St. Martin taking on St. Barthélemy. And in the first leg, it was the US Virgin Islands who take a 2-0 lead against Turks and Caicos Islands into the second round, with Puerto Rico beating their opposition by the same scoreline, 2-0, and St. Martin picking up a 2-1 first leg win against St. Barthélemy. In the second leg, it was US Virgin Islands who won 2-1, winning 4-1 on aggregate, with Puerto Rico drawing against their opponents, winning 3-1. And St. Martin's actually losing to St. Barthélemy 2-1, but winning on penalties. Right, so I just want to make this point very, very clear about this World Cup. This is now the first round proper. There are 14 teams per group, and there are 16 groups. I've already gone through the fixtures. We've got the results from each and every single group from A down to P. And actually, it was Algeria who finished top, along with Tunisia, who were second, South Korea third, Cyprus who were fourth, China who were fifth, and Belarus who qualified in sixth. Actually, the highest score for Algeria was a 14-0 win against Grenada. And I think 14-0 is just the start of the outrageous results. Sierra Leone, Iraq, Gibraltar, Grenada, Martinique, Chinese Taipei, French Guinea and Tuvalu were all eliminated at the first round. This is what Group B looks like, and it was England who qualified in first place, with Portugal, Bulgaria, Angola, Albania and Montenegro also qualifying. It was Curacao, Liechtenstein, Madagascar, Myanmar, Andorra, Eritrea, Belize and Vanuatu, who were knocked out. Just for England, and I mentioned about the highest scores, Vanuatu was the highest scoreline for England with a 17-0 win, 14-0 against Curacao, 13-0 against Myanmar and 12-0 against Madagascar. And actually it was also Portugal who had a higher goal difference. Actually it was 105 goal difference with 111 goals scored, and it was 18-0 against Eritrea as the highest scoreline in Portugal's group stage. This is absolutely unreal. And it was Belgium who qualified top in Group C, along with Egypt, Uzbekistan, Peru, Armenia and Sudan. Kazakhstan, Benin, Afghanistan, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Djibouti, Guam and Tahiti all getting knocked out. And actually Belgium are the first nation whom I have actually saw to actually play 13 and win 13. 2 games where Belgium actually won 13-0, and those were against Dominica and Guam. Group D was probably one of the toughest I've currently found, with Spain, France, Argentina, Brazil, Slovenia and Australia all progressing through to the second round. Northern Ireland, Hungary, Azerbaijan, Panama, Tajikistan, Bahrain, Central African Republic and Nepal all getting knocked out. And actually it was Spain who lost 2 games in this group as well, only finishing on 33 points, with France and Argentina securing second and third place respectively. France getting there on goal difference, but the highest score for Spain in this one was against Nepal in a 14-0 win, 12-0 against Bahrain. And it's a fairly similar story for France, who finished second in this phase of the competition, a 16-0 win against Nepal, a 14-0 win against Central African Republic. This is how Group E finished. It was Slovakia who qualified in first place, Colombia in second, Senegal in third, Scotland in fourth, Togo in fifth, and the Gambia who finished in sixth. Indonesia, India, Burundi, Pakistan, Dominican Republic, New Caledonia, Kuwait and the Solomon Islands all being knocked out in the early stages of this World Cup. And for Slovakia, the highest score was against Kuwait with a 14-0 win. Group F saw our second nation score over 100 goals. Funny enough though, they didn't finish in top spot. That was taken by Croatia. Denmark secured second spot while scoring 111 goals. Ivory Coast finishing third, with Mexico following quite closely in fourth place. Moldova finishing in fifth, and Congo were qualified in sixth. Uganda missed out by 3 points, with St. Vincent, Mongolia, St. Martin, Tonga, Aruba, Micronesia and Eswatini all being knocked out at the early round. I've just had a quick look as well for Denmark. They actually scored 19, that's 19 goals against Aruba, and that was closely followed by an 18-1 win against Mongolia. This is absolutely ridiculous. It was Norway who finished top in Group G, followed closely by second place Switzerland and Chile in third. Switzerland and Chile actually finishing on the same amount of points, but Chile actually having a higher goal difference. So I'm presuming this was a head-to-head battle between the Swiss and the Chileans. Israel finishing in fourth place, with the Dominican Republic of Congo finishing fifth, and Bolivia finishing 3 points above Trinidad and Tobago, who didn't qualify. Mozambique, St. Lucia, Kazakhstan, the Philippines, Jordan, Papua New Guinea and Mauritius all getting knocked out. Norway actually scoring 93 goals, 18 of those coming up against Mauritius, 16 against Papua New Guinea and 12 against the Philippines. Group H actually looks pretty closer than what it is. The Netherlands are finishing in top, with Saudi Arabia finishing second. Both nations finishing on 35 points, but with the Netherlands having a significantly larger goal difference to Saudi Arabia. Greece finishing third only a point behind the top two on 34 points, with South Africa, Luxembourg and Gabon also qualifying in 4th, 5th and 6th place. Chad, Vietnam, Oman, Maku, Reunion, Boyota, Northern Mariana and the British Virgin Islands getting beaten in the group. The highest score for Holland was actually 19 goals against Mayotte and 14 against Macau. For Saudi Arabia, it was only 13 goals against Oman, so a significantly larger goal difference for the Dutch this time around. In Group I, it's Romania, who are now the second nation to play 13 and win 13, showboating a 100% win record in the group. Followed closely, 3 points behind them were Honduras, Finland in 3rd, Guadeloupe in 4th, Libya in 5th and Ethiopia finishing in 6th. Malawi, Botswana, Liberia, Fiji, Montserrat, Bonaire, Yemen and American Samoa all finishing below the qualifying phase. For Romania, it was 9 goals scored against both American Samoa and Yemen, and as for Honduras, actually they scored 12 against Yemen. So even though it was Honduras were 3 points behind Romania, they were also 2 goals behind in terms of goal difference, but actually matched for goals scored. Finland actually scored 14 goals against American Samoa, having a significantly larger goal difference than everybody else, but it was only 2 goals more than Romania and Honduras. Group J looks like this. The Italians finishing in top spot to qualify for the next round. Morocco finishing in second. Ireland and Poland also qualify, a point difference between the two nations. Paraguay and Guinea-Bissau also qualifying. But I'm quite surprised actually, Italy were not able to secure a 100% win rate in this group. Even the likes of Iran, Faroe Islands, North Korea, Turkmenistan, East Timor, Mauritania, San Marino and Sri Lanka in their group. Who did actually lose to? I'm quite intrigued. Morocco. So they actually got beaten by Morocco 2-1. But they were the 15 goals against East Timor, the 13 goals against Mauritania and 10 goals against Turkmenistan. Only the 10 goals against San Marino. What's that saying about Turkmenistan, Mauritania and East Timor? I do wonder. Now, Group K has surprised me quite a bit. This is a group that has Mali, Czechia, USA, Germany, Suriname and Guinea all qualifying for the second round. But it's not Germany, who you'd think would have been group favourites to finish as group winners. Actually, they finished in 4th, losing 2 games and drawing 3. Losing the 2 against Czechia and Mali, drawing against Suriname, Guinea and USA. So quite surprising that one. Mali finished top, did draw 2 games, but their biggest score was, the biggest goal tally was against Bhutan. 13 goals scored for the Malians and 11 goals against Wellington Fortuna, who didn't qualify. New Zealand, Guatemala, Palestine, Singapore, Samoa and Laos were also the remaining nations who did not qualify. But credit to Mali, they conquered and they progressed through to round 2. Ukraine become only the 3rd nation to qualify top of their group with a 100% win rate. And that also had the likes of Bosnia-Herzegovina, Ecuador, Cameroon, Zambia and Estonia qualifying from Group L. Haiti, Lithuania, quite surprised with, Bermuda, Cambodia, Bangladesh, the Bahamas, Nicaragua and Zanzibar getting knocked out in the first round group. So what actually happened here? So it was 13 goals scored for Ukraine against Cambodia, 11 against Bahamas and Nicaragua and 10 against Bangladesh. Again, 13 goals for Bosnia and Herzegovina against Zanzibar, 12 against Cambodia and 10 against Bangladesh. 15 goals scored for Ecuador against Cambodia. But look at this, 16 goals for Cameroon against Zanzibar. I know Zanzibar aren't the world's greatest nation, and they're not even anywhere near it, but Cameroon scoring 16 goals. This World Cup of World Cups is really living up to its name. Turkey and Serbia progressed through to the next round, finishing in first place with Turkey on goal difference, only by 1 goal. Serbia matching them on points, but losing out by that 1 goal. The goal difference. Russia, Nigeria, Venezuela and Thailand also qualifying through to that next round of the World Cup of World Cups. Guyana, Malta, Latvia, Barbados, Maldives, South Sudan, Lesotho and Anguilla getting knocked out. For Turkey it was 10 goals against Anguilla, also the 10 goals for Serbia against Lesotho, but 11 goals for Russia against Anguilla, 12 goals for Nigeria against Barbados and 11 goals against both Latvia and Lesotho, 10 goals against Anguilla and Guyana. They really are putting these nations to the sword, I tell you something. Austria qualified for this second round of the World Cup of World Cups, playing 13 and winning 13, and there's something that I'm going to mention just before I do make a note of that 100% win record. They did not concede a single goal in this first round. They did score 92 goals, 14 against Sao Tome and Principe and Niger, 12 against the Cayman Islands and Comoros. So not only do Austria qualify with a 100% win record, but they did not concede at all. It was Ghana and Kosovo who also joined Austria, along with El Salvador, Guinea and the UAE, who also qualified for the second round. Tanzania, Antigua and Barbuda, Lebanon, Niger, Somalia, Comoros, Cayman Islands and Sao Tome and Principe getting knocked out. Group O saw Sweden progress through to the next round, finishing top above Cape Verde, of all nations. Actually, Cape Verde only finishing 1 point behind the Swedes and also 2 points above Uruguay. Wales also qualified for the second round along with Canada and Georgia, but Costa Rica, probably one of the group favourites at this time, being knocked out, finishing behind Georgia by a whole 21 goal difference. Syria, Qatar, Cuba, Malaysia, the Seychelles, Rwanda and Kiribati getting knocked out. And I've just seen the Seychelles goal difference. I will have a look at the goals scored, but minus 103 goals, conceding a total of 113. And I did have a sneak peek just before I did this bit. 14 goals were scored for Sweden against the Seychelles, 10 against Kiribati, 11 for Cape Verde against Kiribati and the Seychelles, but Uruguay, well, 20 goals scored for Uruguay against the Seychelles with no response whatsoever. That is ridiculous. And finally, Group P, the very last group of the first round of the World Cup of World Cups, and it's Iceland who finished top, 4 points above Burkina Faso, who finished in second place. Jamaica and Japan finishing in third and fourth in their group. Only 1 point separated them, with North Macedonia and Zimbabwe finishing in fifth and sixth. North Macedonia finishing above Zimbabwe with a total of 27 goals difference. Kenya, Namibia, Hong Kong, Brunei, Puerto Rico, Cook Islands, US Virgin Islands and St. Martin finishing in the lower section of this group. Actually, St. Martin playing 13, losing 13. However, Iceland did score 93 goals across Group P, 17 of those goals coming up against Cook Islands, 13 of them coming up in games against Puerto Rico, the US Virgin Islands and Brunei, with 11 goals being scored against St. Martin. Burkina Faso did score 13 goals against the US Virgin Islands, and 12 against St. Martin, and the Cook Islands and Jamaica also scored 13 goals against St. Martin and 11 against the Cook Islands. So now we know who is progressing through to the second round of this World Cup of World Cups, and we're going to have a look at them right now to see who is playing who has progressed to the third round, who is going home. So this is how the second round of the World Cup of all World Cups is looking. In Group A, Mexico finished top of their group, with Switzerland finishing second, Jamaica and Nigeria finishing third and fourth. Cape Verde are doing so well in the first round to get to where they are now, getting knocked out in the second round, finishing fifth, and Bolivia not winning a single game at all. Group B saw Romania finish group winners, with Wales, South Korea and Luxembourg also qualifying for the third round. Good going there for Luxembourg. Kosovo and Zimbabwe finishing 5th and 6th, being eliminated at this stage, whereas Italy were convincing Group C winnings, beating the likes of Turkey, Cameroon and Armenia to the first place spot. Saudi Arabia and Togo going home at the second round stage, with Brazil finishing top of Group D, only on goal difference by 3 goals. That was to Japan, who finished second place, with Slovakia and Colombia finishing in third and fourth. Israel and Guadeloupe going home. Brazil beating Bolivia 8-0 as the group's winner in this round. Quite a convincing win there, with Romania picking up only 2 wins, and those were against Luxembourg and Zimbabwe, drawing 3 of their 5 games, whereas Italy won 4 of 5 of their games, beating Armenia 5-1 and Togo 6-1, whereas Brazil winning 3, drawing 2. You can't see the bottom result, but I'll tell you, they beat Guadeloupe 5-0, 3-0 against Colombia, and they were able to beat Israel 2-0. And this is what Group E to Group H looked like. Belgium actually the first nation to go all the way through the second round group stage, winning all 5 of their games, beating the likes of Chile, Algeria, Egypt, Guinea and Finland. Chile, Algeria and Egypt actually qualifying in second, third and fourth place. Portugal were only 1 game away from actually winning all 5 of their games, but they did manage to finish top, alongside with North Macedonia, who finished second, Slovenia and Montenegro picking up third and fourth spot, with Sudan and El Salvador going home at the second round stage. Ecuador actually finishing top of Group G, with Canada following behind them quite closely. Actually, second, third and fourth spot were very, very close. Canada actually finishing on -2 in regards to their goal difference, with Senegal going 1 up and Germany finishing on equal terms for goals for and against. I'm quite surprised actually, again, Germany finishing so low down, but it's actually Holland who are going back home, with Bulgaria finishing 6th. Quite surprising actually. I'm very surprised at that one. But Albania were group winners in Group H, beating the likes of Scotland, Croatia, Serbia, the USA and Equatorial Guinea, who finished rock bottom, losing all 5 of their games. Albania finishing top with 3 wins and 2 draws, just up above Scotland, who finished with 3 wins and 2 losses. So Belgium winning all 5 of their games. An interesting scoreline there against Guinea, winning 6-3, but a more convincing victory against Finland, where they beat them 6-1. Portugal were able to beat Montenegro 4-0. These are some really good scores actually. North Macedonia 5-1, El Salvador 7-0 and Sudan 11-0. Ecuador only won 3 of their games, and it was a 3-2 win against Germany. Also 3-1 wins against Bulgaria and Canada, and Albania winning 3, also beating the likes of Serbia 2-1, Equatorial Guinea, and also, you can't see at the bottom, but they beat Scotland 2-1. So 3 out of 4 groups actually ended with nations winning all 5 of their games. In Group I, it was Norway who played 5 and won 5, with Greece, Sweden and Cyprus picking up the qualifying spots. Also, Guinea-Bissau and Moldova losing out at this round. Rather close actually. in Group J, with France and Argentina finishing on the same points, but France having a significantly larger goal difference. Poland and Angola also going through in third and fourth spot, with Czechia and Burkina Faso going home. Burkina Faso actually losing all 5 of their games. Ukraine were the second nation in this section of the group to play 5 and win 5, along with DR Congo, Suriname and the Gambia also qualifying for the third round, with Thailand and Ethiopia losing, as Ethiopia also playing 5 and losing 5. And finishing up, it was Mali who played 5 and won 5, also with the likes of Ivory Coast, Ghana and Peru qualifying as well, Honduras and Gabon going home. So for Norway, it was 5 out of 5 and a very nice 7 win against Moldova. With France, as mentioned, they were finishing on the same level points as Argentina, and in Belarus it was actually Argentina who France drew against, and it was a 6-0 win as the highest score for France against Burkina Faso. Ukraine, it was also a 6-0 win for the Ukrainians against Thailand as their highest score, a 5-0 win also against Ethiopia, with Mali finishing 7-0 winners against Gabon and also a 5-1 win against Peru. And the final section of the second round, and it was Paraguay who finished top in Group M, but ridiculously close for Russia, Tunisia and Austria, who do progress through to the third round at the expense of South Africa, who finished in 5th place, but 2nd to 5th place, all on 8 points. That is a ridiculously close group, only losing out on goals against for that group. Denmark finishing top with 4 wins and a draw, with the likes of Ireland, Australia and Estonia also qualifying for the third round. Belarus and UAE not qualifying as they only achieved 1 point. Spain, 5 out of 5 for these guys, 100% win record for the Spanish in Group O, finishing top on 15 points. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Morocco and Zambia also qualifying for the third round, with the Congo and Libya going home. And for Group P, finally, it was England who qualified top with 4 wins and a draw, with the likes of Uruguay, Iceland and Uzbekistan also qualifying. England and Uruguay only a point separating the two between first and second place, but it's Uzbekistan who beat Georgia to that 4th qualifying to that final spot, and it was, by the looks of it, quite close actually. So goal difference is -6 for Uzbekistan and -2 for Georgia. 14 goals conceded for Uzbekistan to Georgia's 5, but it looks like this time around it is goals scored which put Uzbekistan through. Venezuela finishing rock bottom of their group, only achieving 1 point. For Paraguay, it was a very close game against Tunisia, 3-2, but a convincing win against China and another close win against Russia. For Denmark, it was, again, actually some very good scores here. Belarus 3-0, Australia 4-2, Estonia and UAE both finishing 4-1 to the Danish. And for Spain, it was a rather convincing 7-1 win against Libya and 6-1 against Congo. And for England, finally, it was a 4-1 win against Uzbekistan, 3-1 against Uruguay, 3-2 against Iceland, and 4-0 against Venezuela. So now we know who's going through to the third round. Let's find out who is qualifying today. On to the third round of the World Cup of all World Cups, and it's Norway who finished top of Group A. Senegal finishing 2nd, Sweden 3rd, and Slovakia 4th. Ecuador finishing in 5th, 1 point behind Slovakia, with Albania, Switzerland, and Egypt not qualifying for round 4. Just a quick one, let's have a look at the wins here. A very convincing 5-3 victory against Albania for Norway, and picking up a 4-0 win against Egypt. In Group B, it was France who have a 100% win rate in their group, beating the likes of Austria, Mali, Uruguay, Angola, Nigeria, North Macedonia, and Estonia. That was a lot to say. And actually, it was a very, very convincing group win for France, as they also managed to pick up a 9-0 win against Estonia. Austria, Mali, and Uruguay also going through to the 4th round of the World Cup, of all World Cups. Group C saw Brazil win all of their games, and they were able to beat the likes of Croatia, Germany, and Wales, who also qualified for the 4th round. DR Congo, Peru, Armenia, and Zambia are going home at this stage, which is no mean feat. They have really performed well. Well, for Brazil, it was a 5-0 win against Zambia, with a 4-1 win against Peru, picking up 3-1 victories against Wales, DR Congo, and Germany also. In Group D, it was Denmark who have 21 points, winning all 7 of their games, with Romania, Ireland, and Ghana also qualifying for the next round. Unfortunately for Montenegro, it was just a little bit too much, as they finished 1 point behind Ghana, Japan, Suriname, and Luxembourg, who did not win a single game, also going home. As for Denmark, it was a 5-2 win against Luxembourg as the highest results. Serbia were able to topple Spain in the quest for top spot, with Serbia picking up 15 points and Spain only a point behind them, with Ivory Coast also 1 point behind Spain in 3rd place, who do also qualify. And it was South Korea who took that vital 4th qualifying spot, just ahead on goal difference against the likes of Iceland and Ukraine, who are being eliminated. Uzbekistan and Tunisia are also going home at this stage. For Serbia, it was a 5-0 win as their highest result against Uzbekistan, but just out of curiosity for Spain, it was a 4-3 victory against Ivory Coast, a very, very close encounter. As for Group F, however, it was very, very close between 1st and 4th spot, with Mexico just finishing top spot above Chile on goal difference, and also 1 point above Scotland, who finished in 3rd. Morocco were also the 4th team to qualify for the 4th round, finishing on 12 points, so only 2 points difference between 1st and 4th. However, unfortunately, it is time for Bosnia and Herzegovina to go home, along with Russia, Greece, and Cyprus. Cyprus only finishing on 1 point. Very, very close group as mentioned, but it was a 4-0 win for Mexico against Cyprus as the overall result. And from Chile, it was a 6-0 win against Cyprus. Cyprus has been battered in this group, but it was that 6-0 win that was able to assist Chile along the way to qualification for the next round. Group G saw England qualify for the 4th round of the World Cup of all World Cups, winning 6 and only drawing 1. And it was Colombia who did finish in 2nd, 1 point behind England. Algeria finishing in 3rd on 13 points, and Argentina struggling, it may appear, in 4th spot, qualifying on 9 points. Slovenia on 7, Jamaica on 5, Paraguay and Colombia only finishing 1 point above each other. And I think it was Argentina who England drew up against. It was with a 1-1 draw. But a 5-0 win against Cameroon, 2-0 win against Paraguay, 7-0 win against Jamaica, 5-2 win against Algeria, 2-0 against Slovenia, 3-1 against Colombia were the results that secured England that 4th round spot. And finally for Group H, just before we mention top spot, Belgium being eliminated from the 3rd round in Group H, behind Canada, Italy, who finished in 3rd, Portugal 2nd, and Turkey, who won the group. That's right, Turkey finishing top spot above Portugal, Italy, Canada, Belgium, Poland, the Gambia, and Australia. Goodness me, how Turkey have done well in this group. And a good notable mention for Canada, who qualified for the 4th round with wins against Poland, Australia, Belgium, and the Gambia. but it isn't to take anything away from Turkey, who beat Portugal 3-0, Canada 2-1, Australia 3-1, the Gambia 3-1, and Italy 2-1. What a result for Turkey, qualifying for the fourth round of the World Cup of World Cups. Here we go then, the fourth round, and it looks like France have won Group A, along with England, who've qualified in second place, just above Portugal, who finished in third, Argentina finishing in fourth. But with the likes of Spain and Italy probably considered one of the World Cup of all World Cup favourites to go along and win the entire tournament, being knocked out in the fourth round along with Chile and Wales. France beating Spain 5-1. 5-1. They beat Spain 5-1. What about England? There were more sort of subtle results, but they also beat Spain 2-0, along with Chile and Portugal 2-0 and 2-1. They beat Argentina 1-0 and Wales 2-1. Not a bad start to the groups in the fourth round. Group B saw Norway absolutely flying at the minute, progressing through to the fifth round, finishing top of their group unbeaten, winning 5 and drawing 2, but only a point above Uruguay. Mali and Sweden also picking up qualifications in third and fourth place, but Sweden just about beating Morocco to that final qualifying spot, only with goal difference being taken into consideration. South Korea, Romania and Ireland all going home at this stage. For Norway, it was a 3-0 win against Romania, the highest of their wins, but for Uruguay, 5-3 against South Korea. That is definitely some game. Turkey were able to beat the likes of Senegal and Brazil to top spots. Senegal finishing second place and Brazil finishing in third spot, with Austria picking up that fourth qualifying spot above the likes of Ghana, Ivory Coast, Serbia and Scotland, who are all going home. Turkey picking up wins against Scotland, Ivory Coast, Brazil 3-0 against Brazil, and a 2-1 win against Ghana, with Senegal also picking up results against Scotland, Ghana, Serbia and Ivory Coast, and Brazil picking up results against Austria, Ivory Coast, Scotland and Senegal to see them through to the fifth round. And in Group D, it was Mexico who were able to topple the likes of Croatia, Colombia and Germany to that top spot, qualifying for the fifth round. Denmark, Slovakia, Algeria and Canada going home at this stage. But I will say it was very close between Germany, Denmark and Slovakia, who all finished on 9 points. I think Germany are going to struggle in the fifth round. Let's have a look to see what the fixtures are looking like, shall we? And the first fixture in the fifth round of the World Cup of all World Cups was a brilliant 5-1 win for Croatia against Germany. Germany going down to 10 men after 29 minutes, which kind of opened up the floodgates for Croatia to secure a brilliant first leg win, as they also went on to win the second leg 1-0 over Germany. And this is the question that we were all wondering: how were England going to cope in the next round? Well, actually, it was quite a lucky draw against Senegal, who were 1-0 up just before half-time, but not before Raheem Sterling drew England level with a 92nd minute equaliser. But how did they do in the second leg? Well, they won. And it was Jude Bellingham who got his name onto the score sheet, giving England that fantastic 1-0 win to put themselves into the World Cup of World Cup quarter-finals. Argentina took on Turkey in the next game, with Turkey taking the lead just after half-time. Yilmaz putting the Turkish nation ahead before Garnacho from Manchester United draw Argentina level, but Palacios giving Argentina the 2-1 lead before going into the second leg, which was won by Argentina. Palacios 2 goals for himself before Gonzalez also got himself onto the score sheet. Argentina going through 5-1 victors into the quarterfinals. It was Mexico who were 4-1 victors against Uruguay in our 4th game of this 5th round, beating Uruguay 4-1, and then going into the second leg, it was actually Uruguay who managed to score the only goal of the game. Mexico going to the quarterfinals of the World Cup of World Cups 4-2 on aggregate. As for the third game, it was Austria versus Colombia, and even though Austria were down to 10 men in the 73rd minute, they were able to win the tie after going 1-0 up against Colombia, who equalised in the second half. Posch putting the Austrians ahead before Kalajic won the tie for them. For the second leg, Austria put this 2-legged tie to bed, winning 2-1 as victors. Austria go into the quarterfinals. It was Norway versus Sweden in the second game, and Norway taking a 3-2 lead in the first leg. In the second leg, Norway only managed to secure a 1-1 draw, but winning 4-3 on aggregate over the 2 legs. Into the quarterfinals, Norway go. And it was heartbreak for Mali, who have done brilliant to get this far in this competition, losing 3-0 to World Cup favourites Brazil, losing 3-0 with goals from Bremer, Endrick and Rodrigo. Although Brazil did go down to 10 men in the 55th minute, and it didn't really make much of a difference. Were Mali able to pull it back in the second leg? Perhaps. Unfortunately not. It was Militao who gave Brazil the 1-0 win, winning 4-0 over 2 legs. Into the quarterfinals, Brazil go. As for the last fixture of the 5th round, it was Portugal versus France, and it was a 1-1 draw. Marcus Thuram putting France ahead before Ruben Neves equalised for Portugal 3 minutes later. So this is going to go to the second leg. Let's see who won. It was actually France who were able to beat Portugal over 2 legs, it would seem. Thuram putting France ahead before half-time, before Gonzalo Ramos gives Portugal the goal that they were really looking for to level up 1-1, before Christopher Nkunku decided to get himself on the score sheet, putting France 2-1 up, winning 3-2 over the 2 legs. France going to the quarterfinals. What's going to happen next? I want to know. I'm sure you want to know. Let's go and find out. First game in the quarterfinals, and it's Argentina who take a 2-0 lead against Austria in the first leg. Nicolas Gonzalez scoring a brace for Argentina before going into the second leg and finishing off the tie for Argentina. 3-0 in aggregate was Rodrigo de Paul with a 91st minute goal to secure a semi-final spot for Argentina. 3-0 winners over 2 legs. England picked up a 3-1 win in the first leg of their quarter-final fixture against Croatia. Harry Kane gets himself on the score sheet with a 10-minute penalty. Belho for Croatia gets his own penalty before half-time in the 31st minute. However, Declan Rice got his own name on the England score sheet, putting the boys 2-1 up before Ben Chilwell rounds off the 3-1 first leg win with a goal of his own. However, it wasn't plain sailing for England as they lose the second leg 2-1. Ivan Usek getting himself on the score sheet early on in the second leg against England before Belho draws the tie level on aggregate 3-3, 2-0 before half-time. However, Tino Livramento gets the goal that England were looking for in the 58th minute, giving England the 4-3 aggregate win, sending them through to the World Cup of World Cup semi-finals. This is going to get very, very tasty. As for the third fixture in the quarterfinals, it was France versus Mexico, and France seemed to be brushing aside Mexico with goals from Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele and Marcus Thuram, taking a 3-0 lead into the second leg. And for the second leg, it was a 2-0 win for the French. Mbappe and Turin getting themselves on the score sheet, finishing off Mexico, who have had a brilliant World Cup as it would stand. But France going through to the semi-finals. What happened with the last game? This is what happened in the fourth game of the quarter-finals, and this is not something that I was expecting. Norway barging past Brazil with a very, very convincing 3-1 win. Pedersen putting the Norwegians ahead 1-0 before Gabriel Martinelli equalises for Brazil 1-1 at half-time. But that man, that absolute star of the footballing world, Erling Haaland, bagging himself a brace against Brazil. One of the goals being a penalty in the 50th minute before getting his second goal in the 67th minute. But are Brazil going to take that lightly? Well, no, they are not. In actual fact, it's Norway who have absolutely battered Brazil, and I am so surprised to be saying that. It's Brazil who were going home at the quarter-final stage, 6-2 on aggregate to Norway. Erling Haaland, that man again, banging himself a brace, scored a goal in the second minute of the second leg, then going on to score another goal in the 54th minute in between Christophe Aja in the 5th minute of first half injury time before Gabriel scores a consolation for Brazil. This is unbelievable. Norway are going to the World Cup semi-finals. This is intense. It was England versus Argentina in the first leg, and Foden, who plays a nice ball into Harry Kane, who gives England a 1-0 lead. Argentina do respond though from a set piece. It's Declan Rice who doesn't clear the ball well enough. He headers it straight through to McAllister, who rifles the ball past Ramsdale. 1-1. England are not done. Alexander-Arnold Stones to Rice, finds Foden, who is tackled, but there is Harry Kane, who puts England 2-1 up, and we do take a 2-1 lead going into the second leg. To the second leg we go then. It's Argentina who take an early lead from a goal from Enzo, with the ball creeping underneath Ramsdale. That's the only goal of the first half. England break out of the traps in the second half. Saka running down the right hand wing before almost getting taken out. Ramsey to Rice. Rice responds for England, but Argentina are not done. A cross from McAllister. It's not very well cleared. Alvarez almost taken out by Stones, and there is Romero to give Argentina a 2-1 lead. But in the 92nd minute, this happens. A ball forward from Ramsey. Rashford is there to rifle the ball into the top right hand corner, sending England to the World Cup of all World Cup finals. Reece James did get sent off after Rice had scored, not long after Declan Rice had scored, but nevertheless, England have beaten Argentina 4-3 on aggregate. They are going to the World Cup of World Cup finals. In the game, it was France versus Norway, and it was France who took an early lead. A ball over the top, and there was Mbappe to put France ahead 1-0. 3 minutes later though, Mbappe got himself on the score sheet again, and Cuckoo playing the ball out wide to Hernandez. Hernandez plays the ball back to Mbappe. Keeper probably should have saved it, but it doesn't matter all the same for Mbappe. France taking a 2-0 lead into the second leg. The second leg, it was France who got off to an early start, with Mbappe getting on the score sheet before he doubled France's lead with a sublime shot from Zaire Emery, but it was Mbappe who cleaned it up to put France 2-0 up. Mbappe wasn't done. He got himself a hat-trick just before half-time. 5-0 up on aggregate now for France, and I think it was damage done for Norway as Zaire Emery got himself on the score sheet. 4-0 up on the night, 6-0 on aggregate. But Norway weren't going to go down without a fight. You can probably guess as to who got himself on the score sheet. You guessed it, Erling Haaland. And that says that, but it wasn't over. Erling Haaland didn't want to go home at this stage, but it was a little bit too late. Himself, Erling Haaland getting on the score sheet again. France winning on the night 4-2, 6-2 on aggregate. England and France are the two nations in the World Cup of World Cup finals. This is going to be some finale. Here we go then, it's the World Cup of World Cups final first leg, England versus France. And the first leg actually finishes 0-0, so no highlights to show from this game, or goals scored at least. Both teams taking it to each other, with England having more shots in the game, 12 to England, 10 to France, but having a significantly larger amount of shots on target with a higher XG. In terms of corners, it was 10-5 in favour of England, and also fouls. But Kolo Muani did pick up an injury in the second half, with Bukayo Saka picking up a yellow card, and Theo Hernandez also picking up a yellow card in the 71st minute. It's all to play for in this Cup final going into the second leg. Can England topple France? And in the second leg, it's France who take a lead just before half time, but England do respond straight after into the second half. Bellingham playing Harry Kane through, and he slots it past the French goalkeeper. But unfortunately for England, France respond not long after. A free kick whipped in, and there's Theo Hernandez at the back post to put the ball in the back of the net. England respond in the 88th minute. Ben Colwell drawing level for England, and from what I've just found out, this is going to a replay. Not going to believe this. The only goal in the replay was in the 92nd minute. This is what happens. The ball's whipped in from a corner. Stones is there to play it across the Livramento, and he rifles it in the top right hand corner in the 92nd minute, giving England the World Cup of World Cup trophy in the final. This has been absolutely unreal. And now that we know that England have actually won the World Cup of World Cup finals, have a quick look at the stats. And it was actually Portugal who scored the most goals from the very start of the tournament. 168 goals across the tournament, with England scoring 4 less than Portugal with 164. Norway in third with 156. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Haaland actually scored 60 of those goals. And we are actually going to have a look at the player stats just before we wrap it all up. And yeah, I was right. It was Erling Haaland who actually scored the most goals in this tournament. 60 goals that man has scored for Norway. In regards to the most shots though, it was Rafael Leao of Portugal with 166 shots. In regards to most passes, it was Ianis Hagi from Romania with 165, the most of any player from the start of this competition. In regards to most assists, it was Andreas Schjelderup of Norway who got the most assists, just in front of Ousmane Dembele of France. And Jonathan Bamba also getting up there in third place also. In regards to most man of the matches, you probably would have guessed it was Erling Haaland, but it was Brereton Diaz of Chile who wasn't too far behind Erling Haaland. And Mohamed Kudus wrapping it up as well, sitting in third place of most man of the matches for Ghana. I'll tell you something, I have loved this save. This has been such a surprise, seeing England win the World Cup of all World Cups, not just a normal World Cup, but the World Cup consisting of 267 nations across the world. It really is a sight to see. And if you've enjoyed watching this also, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already for this YouTube channel, there are many more experiments coming your way. Hit that subscribe button, and if there's any experiments that you would like to see, the viewers, hit me up in that comment section. Thank you for joining me with this World Cup of World Cup experiment. I have absolutely loved this. Congratulations to England, the World Cup champions.